You walk into a new build show home and the kitchen looks generous. The living room looks bright. The bedroom looks like it fits the bed. Then you move in. The wardrobe door hits the bed frame. Two people cannot pass in the hallway without turning sideways. The dining table you brought from your previous home does not fit the dining area of a house sold to you as having a dining area. Nothing was technically misrepresented. Everything was just slightly, persistently, deliberately smaller than it appeared. Why are new build homes in Britain getting smaller? Who decided this was acceptable? And why has it continued for decades? Step inside a new build in England and you're likely standing in one of the smallest family homes in Europe. The numbers are plain. The average 3-bedroom new build in England measures about 76 square metres. Now look to the Netherlands, where the same type of home averages around 115 square metres. That's nearly 40 square metres more, enough for an extra bedroom, a real dining area, or simply room to breathe. Denmark, Germany, Sweden, and Norway all hover above 115 as well. The contrast is not subtle, yet the price per square metre in London routinely exceeds £4,000, making these small spaces some of the most expensive in Europe. The gap isn't just academic. It decides whether your hallway can fit 2 people, whether your kitchen works for more than one, whether your so-called dining room can handle an ordinary table. If you've ever wondered why it feels like you're getting less for more, the numbers confirm it. You are. The price of a new build home in Britain is steered by one number above all: the bedroom count. Estate agents know it, developers know it, and so do the banks. Add a bedroom, no matter how cramped, and the asking price jumps by £18,000 to £22,000. Add 10 extra square metres of floor space instead, and the price rises by only about £5,000. The difference is not subtle. It is a direct result of how homes are valued and sold. Buyers are trained to search by bedrooms, not by usable space. Developers respond by squeezing in a 3rd bedroom, even if it barely fits a single bed and a wardrobe. Dr. Tim Dixon, an economist who has studied these pricing patterns, describes it as a market built on hedonic regression. The value of a home is driven by the number of rooms on the sales sheet, not the actual space behind each door. This is the lever that shapes the entire new build market. The system rewards density, not livability. If you have ever wondered why your so-called 3rd bedroom feels more like a cupboard, or why the dining area can't handle a full-size table, it is not an accident. It is the outcome of a profit model that treats floor area as expendable, but never the bedroom count. In 1961, the Parker-Morris standards set a clear minimum. No 3-bedroom house should be built under 70 square metres. For nearly 2 decades, this was the legal floor, an ordinary safeguard that meant families could expect a certain amount of space as a right, not a luxury. But in 1980, that guarantee vanished overnight. The government abolished Parker-Morris, promising that the market would deliver what people needed. It didn't. For 35 years, there was no statutory minimum at all. Developers could build as small as they liked, and many did. Only in 2015 did the government introduce the nationally described space standard, setting a new benchmark: 74 to 95 square metres for a 3-bedroom house, depending on layout. But there's a catch. The NDSS is voluntary. Councils can choose to adopt it or not. There is no national enforcement, no penalty for ignoring it. As Professor Peter Allen, a historian of housing policy, points out, this is not a story of buyers demanding too little. It's a story of what happens when the rules simply stop protecting you. If you felt that your new home was smaller than it should be, you were right. The system made it possible. Land is the single most expensive ingredient in any new build, and the sums behind every site are cold and simple. In Greater London, a hectare of buildable land can fetch around £5 million. Developers, facing that price, open their spreadsheets and start slicing the site into as many units as they can get past planning. The logic is relentless. The more homes squeezed onto a plot, the more revenue per hectare. If a scheme is planned at 15 homes per hectare, each with an average size of 76 square metres, the site might yield just over £4 million in sales. But push that to 18 smaller homes, each closer to 66 square metres, and the total revenue climbs to £4.5 million. The developer's profit jumps by £420,000, even as each home shrinks. Karen Phillips, a former planner, calls it land maths. She's seen the spreadsheets. Every square metre lost from a living room or bedroom is another step toward making the numbers work. The system rewards density, not comfort. The result is homes that barely fit a double bed, kitchens that work for one at a time, and hallways where two people can't pass. The numbers dictate the outcome, and the outcome is smaller, more crowded homes. Look at the documents that decide whether a new build gets planning permission in England, and one detail stands out. Almost none mention how much space you'll actually get inside. The National Planning Policy Framework, the document meant to shape what gets built and where, is silent on internal floor area. There's no line that says a 3-bedroom house must be big enough for a family to live in comfort. Instead, the focus is on how a building looks from the street, how many homes fit on a plot, and whether there's enough parking. What happens inside the front door is left to chance, more accurately, to the developer's spreadsheet. The government's own nationally described space standard, introduced in 2015, was supposed to set a benchmark, but it's voluntary. Councils can choose to adopt it or ignore it entirely. As of 2023, most have not adopted the standard. In places where it isn't enforced, planning officers have no grounds to reject a scheme for being too cramped. Lucy Farron, a chartered surveyor who has worked on space standards for RICS, describes the result as a procedural blind spot. She points out that in many planning departments, the checklist stops at the external design. Internal space is no one's responsibility. This is how homes end up with bedrooms that barely fit a single bed, or kitchens where two people can't move side by side. The system is designed to approve density, not to guarantee livability. And when the rules don't require space, developers are free to cut it. Show homes are designed to sell a feeling, not a floor plan. Step inside and you'll find every trick in the book. Beds trimmed down to child size, sofas that barely reach your knees, and mirrors placed to double the sense of space. The industry's own staging handbooks recommend furniture scaled to fit rooms as small as 5 square metres. A wide-angle lens, set at 35mm, adds up to 15% extra depth in the photos. The kitchen looks generous until you notice there's no fridge or full-size oven installed. Every corner is styled for maximum effect, just enough to make you believe your family could actually live there. James McAllister, who spent a decade in developer marketing, describes the process as selling air. He's seen the internal memos, create the illusion, close the deal, move on. The Advertising Standards Authority has started to push back. In 2022, the ASA ruled against a major builder who left out fitted cupboards in their show home photos, making the bedrooms look bigger than the finished product. But these rulings are rare, and most marketing materials still skirt the line. Buyers walk through, reassured by what they see, only to discover the real dimensions after the keys are handed over. The illusion is not accidental. It's a calculated part of the system, one that keeps the cycle of small homes and big promises spinning, long after the sale is done. Alex Patel's voice comes through with a blunt truth. For most buyers, there is no real choice. The Help to Buy scheme, launched with the promise of opening doors, sets a hard cap, £40,000 on the loan, and only for homes under £250,000. That limit shapes the entire market for first-time buyers. Developers know the threshold and design homes to fit just beneath it, no matter how small the rooms become. Last year, more than 140,000 new homes were completed in England, but the Department for Levelling Up's own data shows that 68% of buyers using Help to Buy ended up in homes with less than 80 square metres of usable space. The pattern is clear. The system rewards the smallest homes that still tick the right boxes on paper. Alex describes the moment the keys change hands, a sense of relief, quickly replaced by regret. Nearly 7 in 10 buyers say their new place feels more cramped than they expected. Hallways too tight for 2 people, bedrooms that barely fit a bed, kitchens that force you to cook alone. The market doesn't offer space, it offers the illusion of choice, shaped by financial limits and a supply that never quite matches what people actually need. Mandatory space standards are not some distant ideal, they are the everyday rule across much of Europe. In Germany, building codes require that a new 3-bedroom home offers at least 115 square metres. The Netherlands sets the minimum at 110. These are not targets or suggestions. They are enforced by building inspectors and local authorities, written directly into law. Developers cannot sidestep them, and homes below the threshold simply do not get built. The results are clear in the numbers. Germany completed nearly 470,000 new homes in 2022, keeping pace with the UK's own supply figures. The Netherlands, Denmark, Sweden, each manages to deliver spacious, functional homes while maintaining steady rates of new construction. There is no evidence that enforcing minimum room sizes has strangled the flow of new housing. Instead, these standards have set a baseline for dignity and practicality. Where rules are mandatory, families do not have to fight for livable space. The proof is there, in the floor plans and the completion data. It is entirely possible to build homes that are both plentiful and properly sized. The question is not whether it can be done, but why it is not being done here. You were right to question those cramped rooms. Today, a new 3-bedroom home in England averages just 76 square metres, nearly 40 less than the Dutch norm. This isn't about asking for too much. It's the result of policy, profit, and weak standards, not personal expectation. Demand better.